Hey guys, this is Chris here from Critters Rehatched, and I'm back again with another Critters Collection memorabilia update. I have gotten a lot of Critters items over the past couple months that I haven't been able to show off. I think my last video was probably back in December or somewhere around there. But I got a lot of stuff. Recently I went to a convention and I got to meet Brad Dourif, who played Albert in Critters 4. And so my first item here is involving that is an item you've already seen, but just updated a bit. So I got my Critters 4 poster here. Can't really see all of it, but that's the poster. But I got it signed here by Brad Dourif, which is right there, to Chris, Brad Dourif. And now I have kind of a funny story, which I'll talk a little bit more about it whenever we do the Critters Rehatched or They Bite podcast. If you guys are unaware, I do a Critters podcast every once in a while, and I post it up here on the YouTube channel here, so you guys can give that a listen. But I'll talk a little bit about it now. I'll go more in depth of it on the podcast. But I asked Brad Dourif about Critters 4, and he basically had no memory of it whatsoever. Zero memory about making it, being in it, anything like that. And I'll talk more in depth about it during the podcast. But it was just really awkward meeting him and having him sign a poster for a movie he didn't really remember being in. My next item here is another poster. My fiance bought this for me, and if you've seen the other updates I have, there is two other posters that look just like this one, with the Creatoris and the Critters 2, or the Critters holding the Critters, the number 2 sign here. But this picture right here is different in all three of the posters. So I have two other ones that look just like this except for this poster, or this picture. And so there's three versions of it that I know. There might be more, but as far as I know, there's only three that I've ever seen, and I now own all three, so this completes that. This is a Mexican-style poster. I'm not sure what the size dimensions are, but I always enjoyed these. Now that I have three of them, I could probably frame them up and put them side by side, and they would look really cool. But that is another checklist there that I got off. The next thing here is, I probably should have read through this first to see where it's at, but I do have a Cinefantastic magazine issue here, and it is issue volume 18, number 4 from May 1988. And the reason I got this is because, if you see there, it is a Critters 2 on page 15. So I'm going to open up page 15 here really quickly if I can get to it without, just give me a moment. I apologize about this, but give me a moment and I will show you what it is, and we can both look at it together. Okay, so here we go. So Critters 2, picture there with Don Opper and the critter, and then Mick Garris holding a critter down at the bottom corner there, and that is it. That's the only page out of this that has it on there. Just that little article there. And it actually says continued on page 55. So let's go over to 55. And just bear with me. I apologize about this, that I wasn't prepared in advance. But we will look at this together. This is the first time that I've seen this. So there is another part of Critters 2 right there. And there is the picture at the bottom there, them putting the makeup on Warden Zante or whatever that creature's name is called. So I haven't actually read through that. I think it'd be cool to read through it and actually see what all the stuff is about it there. But there's that. That's small, but it's Critters related. It's a magazine that has pictures and an article about Critters too. So, which leads me to my next item here. This Starburst magazine. I don't know where this came from, but as you can see, it says Critters 2 Director Cornered. And I saw this, and I saw the Critters 2 Director Cornered, and I was like, what does Director 2 Cornered mean? Like, what does that mean? So I got the magazine, and I got to find out what page it's on again, because I cannot remember. Page 40. And we flip to page 40 really quickly, and I'll show you what it is. There's multiple pages here. Here's the first page. It's got Scott Grimes with Terrence Mann there on behind-the-scenes photo. And then there's those images. And an article going on there. Continued on to the next page. We have here is that. There's Scott Grimes with the critter again. And as I was reading this, it says turned down. And it says, actually, Garris turned down Critters 2 several times before eventually directing or deciding to take the movie, deciding to take it for the reasons he outlined. And so I thought that was kind of cool that Mick Garris originally turned down the Critters 2 several times before accepting it. I didn't know that before. I didn't know that he actually turned it down. I thought that it was just a thing that he, right as soon as he found out about it, he wrote it and did it. But this right here confirms that Mick Garris has turned down the gig to direct Critters 2 several times before actually making it. Interesting little information there. My next thing here, let's go ahead and get the big thing out of the way. I have a really cool thing to show you. At the same convention that I went to meet Brad Dourif, I was walking around, I was there for a couple days, and the second day, I don't know why I didn't notice this stuff during the first day, but the second day that I was there, I just started seeing like tons and tons of Critters related items there. There was posters, there was metal signs, magnets, buttons, shirt patches, everything you could think of. Little tiny mini figures, the little furry puppet things, the little tiny, a muck toys, I think they are. Those little things were everywhere. And then out of nowhere, I saw this Critters 3 glass, like fan-made thing. I don't know exactly how to pronounce what it's called, but it was like Critters 3 glass like mirror thing that was like made to look 3D-ish. It was a piece of glass that had like an image of Critters 3, like the critter popping out with critters above it, with the word critters above it. It looked really, really cool. And so when I saw that, I went to ask the guy about pricing. When I was talking to him, I happened to look up on the shelf and I saw this. Now I know this is going to be really hard to see here, but just bear with me. If I can pull it back a little bit, it says Critters 2 here at the bottom, and at the top it says, "This time they want more than a taste." And this here is actually, if you can see it, there's too much of a glare there, or reflection, but it's a bunch of Critters fur with the Critters 2 faces outlined and cut off on that as well. So you have the faces of Critters 2 on top of fur to make look 3D-ish, if you can tell. I don't know if you could tell that or not, but it's really, 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 really cool. And I absolutely love this. It's enclosed in this box, this glass, with the glass casing around it, and that's why it's so 3D-ish. But I love this thing. When I saw this, I had to get this, and I knew that this thing was awesome. And maybe that's a better look right there. It's really hard to tell, but it looks really cool. And I'm thinking about getting a red or green LED light and like putting on the inside of the case, and that way, and turning it on, that way you can it'll shine down on it and you can see it how cool it looks. It's what you just saw doesn't do justice of what you can see it in person, because there's so much glares reflecting off from the glass casing and everything. But it is so cool, and I'm so happy that I found this. Now the guy actually had another one there. He had one for Critters, the first Critters movies as well, and it was a picture of like an outline of D. Wallace Stone, and she was like he drew her laying down with a critter coming over top the side of it, and her and the critter were 3D with like a background of a living room with the word Critters in the background, which was really, really cool looking. And I'm going to have to get a hold of this guy and try to get all those other critter stuff. He said he had some that had like the eggs popping out from the glass, like a broken egg, which is really cool. And this guy does not sell this stuff online. You can only find him if you go and travel to different conventions. And so I cannot wait. I'm going to have to get a hold of him and see when he's going to be at the next convention, because I really need to buy all the rest of these. But that was the big item, and I'm sorry if you can't see it very well, but it's really, really cool. My next item here is really cool to talk about too. It's really small, but Critters 2, I think it's might be an Australian video store, like window cling. It's not a sticker. It doesn't just stick to anything. It only sticks to glass. These were made in video stores back in 1988 for video rental stores, and they would. I guess there was a big sheet and you would cut these out of the sheet. Like there would be multiple ones on the sheet, and you would just cut them out and put them into the, on the windows for display and stuff. And this is just one of those. It's, like I said, it's really small, but it's really cool, and I'm glad to have this. And it's not, I can tell that it came from the video store itself. It's not fan made or anything like that. It is legit like a real window cling. It's got the aging to it. I can feel it on the back and everything. It's really, really cool. So that just shows that there was more promotional stuff for the films that I even knew about, because I keep finding these things all the time. More and more promotional stuff. The next thing here is, I don't know if you'll be able to see this or not. I have that problem a lot nowadays with Critters stuff, but a Critters 2 film strip, 35mm film strip, and I got this a long time ago and I forgot to show it off during one of my updates, but if you can see it here, it is the scene with Roxanne Kernahan, if you can see this or not. It's the scene where she changes, transforms into the girl, where the bounty hunter transforms into the girl. I don't know if you can see that or not. I really apologize, guys. This is really hard to show. The light doesn't do this at all. Doesn't do justice at all of what it is. But I thought it was really cool, and I really wanted it, and I got it. And I didn't know what scene it was going to be when it came in. It just said Critters 2 film strip, and I got it, and it was this one. So this kind of adds to my Critters 2 film strips that I have. I have multiple ones, and that's just another one that I don't have. The reason I like this one is because it is encased in this little plastic sleeve, so that's really cool. Another item here is a coffee mug, and this one is fan-made. My fiance got this for me. It's green on the inside, which is cool, with the green handle, white little backing here, but it's got two different pictures. It's got this one here, which is a custom fan art picture I see floating around online all the time, but on the other side here, it's got the original Critters VHS cover here, which is really cool. Really like that a lot. It's glass, so it's really nice coffee mug. I'm going to put this up on my shelf. Really cool. And the last thing here is, I have to rant about this a little bit, but some of you might know this, but I try to collect every single version of Critters on DVD possible. If it has a different case, I want it. I don't care how slightly different the case is. If it's any somewhat different, I want it. So the 4 film sets have maybe 2 or 3 different versions of it that are out there. Well, one day, all of a sudden, a different version of that 4 film set popped up online. It was a white background instead of the black background or the gray background that I've seen. But I decided to go ahead and order it one day from Amazon. It was pretty cheap. It usually goes for like $30 or $40 for some reason. I don't know why. But I decided to go ahead and get it. And whenever it came in, sure enough, it was the black background case. So I contacted the person who sold it to me, and they apologized for it, and they sent me a refund, and I got to keep the item. So this is like my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think I have 7 of these now. Some of them have different like sleeves and stuff for them, but all in all, this is like my 7th 4-film franchise for Critters. But I'll keep if I got 100 of these, I still keep every one of them. But I was really upset that I got this one though, because I really wanted that alternate version with the white background case. Well, that is it, guys. That is my Critters update for like a couple months now. But this right here is the ultimate item that I got this time around. So happy. So happy. That you can kind of see it right there. I don't know if you can or not, but it's really, really cool. It's made to look 3D-ish, and you can tell that it's got the Critters 2 stuff there. But that is it, guys. Thank you for watching, and if you haven't listened to They Bite podcast, please listen to it and subscribe to this channel for more Critters-related items. So thank you, guys, and see you again.